This is the show for the stoners, for the cool cats, for the misfits. Welcome back to D.O.U.G Talks, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next greatest podcast in the entire world. This is D.O.U.G, and this is D.O.U.G Talks, where we go over comedians, interviews, artisans, everything in between. And today I have one of my idols, one of my best friends, and one of my mentors. I have Mr. ERAN KIOUS in the building. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you on. You have helped my career tremendously. It would be no career without you, actually. Like, I'll give you your flowers immediate. You are a text. Just without you, man, there'd be no D.O.U.G. So there would be no this. There would have been no issue, no want for me to do any type of content or anything if you wouldn't have been like, yeah, man, I'll put you on a song. Like, we can record something. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on my podcast, man. I've had E-Money, I've had Avi, I've had Are You Garbage, I've had Ryan, I've had all my friends. Like, this really does mean the world because you're able to finally see everything come to fruition. All the stuff that you saw, like a little dorky D.O.U.G coming over to make some cringy rap songs, now here we are, and it truly means the absolute world that you're sitting across from me, my friend. Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That warms my heart. For real.
Absolutely. It means the absolute world. For those of you that don't know, Mr. ERAN KIOUS has dropped over a dozen albums, has all kinds of songs out. You can check him out Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Music, anywhere you can find music. Type in ERAN KIOUS and you can find it. You might even find stuff on BandLab, because I'm pretty sure that was a big thing for you, my friend. You were
Bandcamp.
That's what it was, not BandLab.
BandLab is a thing now.
Yes.
I think you can produce songs on
yes, that's what I
haven't messed with it.
That was something in high school. There used to be something in high school that people could do was BandLab. I used to do it with Tommy in Miss Lunsford's class.
Nice. Classic.
Yes. But so you have gone over. You've had a couple of monikers, my friend. You've been in a couple of bands, a couple of groups. We were going to get into all of this today. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Saturday Morning Cartoons and over 1,000 subscribers. Check us out on the old Patreon. New songs coming out all the time on Spotify and everywhere else you can find D.O.U.G music. So let's get into it, my friend. Holy shit, you're here.
First podcast ever, so I don't know how these things go. I don't really listen to podcasts.
That's understandable.
We'll see.
Yeah,
if I'm podcast material, if I'm made for this or not.
You already have the podcast voice going. You've always had it, regardless of a mic being on. You have that energetic, like shock jock. There was just like the radio heads back in the day, where it's like, welcome back to D.O.U.G's Hour. Here we got this new tasty band here. You have that charisma about you. So this will be great.
Yeah, a decade in sales, I think, will make anybody talk like a radio announcer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You say the same scripts over and over every day. You can kind of figure out how to put some flavor in your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you and I first essentially got together with music, you and I were in your old house. We were in Sugarloaf, and you and I were talking about a concert, about doing like a show, and that was at the Paradigm. Deep cut. They're reopening it.
Yeah, they are.
I heard
they were prepping. I was sent a picture of it the other day from Chris Tatum.
Okay.
He wouldn't tell me if it was him doing it or if he was working with the people that are doing it, but it was a picture, and they had like built a new stage and they had some speakers set up. I'm so excited. We got to play there again.
Oh, absolutely.
By the way. And so, neither of us have been serious about playing live for a long time. It's time to start up a scene. I mean,
to bring it back.
We're the motherfuckers to do it.
Yeah, so. And here's the best part. We need to bring the scene back that doesn't allow a lot of sexual misconduct, because that was a real big issue with the Paradigm. And with the local scene people
were getting laid at shows?
That not always willingly. There was
shit.
That's what I mean. So when that got announced that the Paradigm, there was about 100 comments of being like, hope it's better than last time, or hope. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
There's someone named Lana, or it's Lana. I always forget how to pronounce your name, but probably for like the past like 6 or 7 years, she's been very adamant and vocal about some of the local scene obviously not us, but the other ones that you and I know about, they are not the most trustworthy, and they used to do some fuck shit.
Oh my god, I've heard about some like statutory rape shit.
Yes.
Like older dudes in metal bands kind of trying to hook up with the younger girls in the scene.
Lana was real young at the time, so it's stuff like that. So that
was consensual, but it's still fucked up.
Yes. And so there's that worry from other people, but then there's other people that are like, I hope so and so gets to perform, and I hope this is
so there's a beautiful side to it too. The fucked up shit's always going to happen in a music scene because that's where people go to unleash the wild side of them.
Right, exactly. So shout out to whatever the paradigm is going to be called now. I will absolutely do some live shows. I will absolutely go to your live show. It's going to be great. So back then I was Mr. KIDD during the live show. Were you Aaron? Were you just Eran Kious at the time? Were you in a band? Were you the 50 Antelopes at that point? Had y'all disbanded at the moment?
I don't know.
Because I'll be honest. So there was. Actually, go through all of your phases of groups.
I will, and then it'll be understood why I don't know, because it's been so much over such a long course of time, like over 15 years, easy. At this point, I've been making music and going by various band names. So it all started off with Fuzzy Dice.
Yes.
Which was my first, me and my friends were like, we're going to call ourselves a band. I was making all the songs, but my friends were there in the presence of me making the songs, and they would contribute. Brad would do some vocals every now and then, or one of the guys would say, say something here about blank, and then I'll be like, okay. And back then, I was such a terrible, terrible, terrible singer that we would record the vocals first. There's no beat. The beat does not exist. We record the vocals, and then I would change the keys in autotune until I found one that sounded okay.
Yeah.
And then I would just make it. Somehow at this point, I already knew music theory. I don't know where that came from. I guess I was born with that shit.
Yeah.
Because I would build the beat around the vocals that already existed in a given key. And, build the chords around it and all of that, which is bass backwards from anything ever. So from the jump, I was doing shit wrong, and I was doing it loud because we took that Fuzzy Dice CD, bro, and all of its shitty glory. And I'll never forget taking that bitch classroom to classroom through our school, through every high school classroom, slinging CDs. Y'all want to buy a CD? And then when we tapped out the high school, we went to the fucking elementary school.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about knocking on the kindergartner's door.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, can I offer your kids a CD? Yeah, sure. Go in there, pop that bitch in a CD player, and let them listen to the Gingerbread Man deep cut.
Oh, my goodness, dude. Oh, my Lord.
One day, bro, mark my words, I think it'll probably be about 5 years. One of these days, I'm going to drop an early rarities CD. It's got to be after I make it. You don't just drop that when you're on the way up.
Right.
You make it, and then you drop the early rarities CD, and people are going to be like, holy shit.
I can't believe, you're going to make your own, a fake profile and be like, here's leaked, unreleased. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, yeah.
Is that what motherfuckers be doing?
You make a burner account sometimes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Breakins has a ton of songs like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Breakins. Rocking the t-shirt today.
I love it, dude. Beam, shout out to my dog Beam. One of his old homies took a bunch of his songs that he sent him, and he made a SoundCloud profile and was like, Beam leaked Beam. And he was like, I'm Beam's friend. He doesn't want to fucking show the world, so fuck him. I'll show you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's just like songs that you can't put on Spotify because they don't own the lease or anything. So technically he's not doing anything illegal. It's just still fuck shit. But also fans are like, dude, this song's great. Why aren't you doing this? So it works. It worked in his favor. But I want that CD. I will tell you right now, I remember your Down remix from the Fuzzy Dice.
That was it was before. I think it was before Fuzzy Dice.
Because Blake had it on a CD.
Oh shit!
Shout out to my dog Blake. Well, Blake. I love Blake more than anything in the world. We're still members in this band.
We are the homie. Blake and the homies. We're the homies. You should rename this podcast, by the way. Doug Talks is a great name, even though I feel like you're probably going to ask me a lot of questions and expect me to talk some too, so it's not fully appropriate, but an even better name.
Okay.
Just roll with me. I'm going to shoot it to you. If you don't like it, bro, you shoot it right back.
All right.
We rename it Doug Hogs the Blunt.
Time out. First of all. Time out. My man.
Yeah, we're going to cut it.
No. My man. First of all, My man said, I've never watched a single one of your podcasts, Doug. Is that how'd you know that deep cut? Oh my god. So Ray's parents will watch the Saturday morning cartoons and they'll be like, man, Dugan hogs the blunt all the time. First of all, I know you were smoking. Would you like to hit this blunt today?
I'll take both.
Absolutely. Usually you and I don't smoke together, so I was, fair. That's on me.
This is a special occasion. This is like a celebratory podcast. You
yes,
know what I'm
absolutely.
This is a momentous occasion that I want to be a full part of it.
I understand. If that was the case, I would have handed it to you a long time ago. I gave it to you. I didn't, because sometimes when we work together, you're like, I'm not trying to get too stoned and when I'm working, but you're 100% right. This is
I have a low tolerance, so I'm not gonna have a lot, but
yeah,
when in Rome.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, that's a roach blunt. Sorry about that. So Doug does hog the blunt. That is very true. I've been very prone to that my entire life. I will sit on that motherfucker.
God damn, you hog the rest of it.
Yeah,
that's great, but I'm there.
Yeah, well, it's roaches, so it gave you a little bit of nicotine. Also, it gives you a little bit of little buzz. Plus you in the Zen garden right now, my friend.
I'm listening to LYNYRD ZYNYRD.
Oh, LYNYRD. That's a good clip. I like that. That's a good one. Oh, LYNYRD ZYNYRD. Oh man, that boy's in the Zen garden just vibing. Okay. So yes, Blake and the homies, man.
Blake and the homies, bro. The long lost record, and if anybody has that, I need it. There's a
contact
CD
us
out there. Get a hold of us. Blake and the homies was like the greatest release.
Actually, Blake and the homies was the reason we made that show.
No, that's the show you're talking about.
Yes,
I didn't perform at that. I was just
no.
The host.
You were the host the entire time. You had Kelso and I think the Say So guys, Illest Demeanor, me. And then the
Eazer was probably there.
I think so.
I think Eazer was there.
And then I remember the system went out. And so we had Eric Dodd come up and
the system didn't go out. You just did that shit and it was dope as fuck.
They had like a man, hang on, let me tell you something. I see that on occasion in my memories, and it's something that if were possible, I would wipe it off the face of the earth.
No way.
I saw that.
You sent me that shit. You were so confident, bro.
I
wrote a song about how confident you were during that very performance, and it's fucking. If you haven't listened to Confidence off of my Brain Damage EP, listen to that shit. That's the one I was telling you about earlier. That's the fucking head trip to listen to. The song Confidence is about you on that stage. Not the most talented performer there.
At all.
We're just being real.
It's my first performance. Never wrote an actual song yet.
You were bad.
Yes,
100%. Really bad.
Yes.
Like, me and Brad would talk shit about you behind your back.
No. That's fine.
It was bad.
Yes.
And I can say that to you because you've grown and look at you now.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've been there. I've been there. Everybody's been there. But what was crazy is you didn't have the most clout either. And nonetheless, all these other motherfuckers up on stage, they've been rapping for years, and they get up there in a cypher and have to freestyle, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, none
they're
of them
reading out their phones.
Yeah, some of them were. Some of them just would get up there and not know what the fuck to do. And then you come up there and you're like, fuck it, and you just let go. That was the beauty of it. You just let go, fully confident. I don't know what the fuck you said in the video, I'm sure, but it didn't matter.
It keeps me up at night. It's one of those things where you're about to go to sleep and it's 2 a.m. and then your entire body just goes, ah.
I've been thinking about Hendrix for like the last 6 months.
Okay.
I've been really focusing on him because he was an innovator and a genius, and he changed music forever. And
100%.
And so Hendrix, when he would play live, his solos were improvised.
Always. Sometimes
you listen back to him, and it's like he's just making crazy fucked up noises. And you listen back to it on the record, and it's not it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
but
swing and a miss sometimes.
But
when he connects.
No, when you're there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because he's performing this shit live.
When
everything we're hearing.
Yeah, when you're
there.
The
motherfuckers that were there, he was tuned into them, and they were tuned into him, and that was the biggest thrill ride of their life, was listening to him improvise those crazy-ass solos. You know
fuck.
You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what it sounded. It doesn't matter what it sounds like to us, because he was doing it for them. And they were there.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying?
Damn.
And that's the connection to that freestyle that you were spitting, because it doesn't matter in retrospect how you view it.
Yeah.
Because we were there and we fucking felt the energy off of it, and we were all connected, and you were connected to us. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
You weren't doing it for the people that were going to listen later on a video. You were doing it for the people in the room. That was the magic of it.
100%. Damn, that changed my entire mindset. That was that was crazy. Damn, that was wild.
I did watch a couple of episodes of Midnight Gospel this morning, and I didn't watch them thinking that they would contribute to my knowledge of podcasts, but I think that show was a podcast.
It is. So it's him. It's a podcast that they drew over.
Yes.
It's a literal like
that checks out.
It's a literal like podcast that they just added animation to, and it was like so beautiful. Like his mom actually did pass away, like at the very end.
I gotta rewatch that because I didn't really fully internalize the last episode. Last time I watched it, it was years ago.
Because he was like talking to his mom, I'm pretty sure, in one of the episodes, and she ends up passing away like a couple months later or something like that.
Really?
So it's just like them talking about life and how things go and how they work. It's man, a beautiful show, a beautiful podcast.
So I started rewatching it. I think I was distracted that day we were watching the last episode, and everybody said like, "Oh, it's the last episode," and I kind of was half there, half not.
And especially when people are telling you like, "Yo, the last episode," well, you're like, "Is it though?" You know what I mean? You're like,
I get tired of a show too. Like I'll skip around the second watch, and I'll just watch like the hits.
Yes. 100%. I feel that so hard.
I get tired of a show and just stop watching. Like we were watching Suits, bro. And I was loving Suits. I fell in love. The first season had me hooked. I don't watch TV either. It's got to be banging for me to watch. I don't just be watching shit.
And you've never been a TV guy.
No, never been a TV guy.
You've never been a... you have a lot of materials, but you've never been a materialistic person. From what I've seen, you've never been like.
But yes, I would still be in a van right now.
Yes,
if I wasn't raising a son. So like that's the only reason why I'm doing so good in life. Like, and it's not that I wasn't doing good before, but I just mean like
in this journey, in this point in time, you're doing 10 times better than what you were at that point. You know what I mean?
I feel like just in general, I'm doing well off as fuck. Like sales manager at Clio's pays fucking great.
I put it
dope cars. Like,
I put it like this because Ray, like you didn't know Ray was a full-time editor, and Ray will start to doubt himself sometimes. Fuck, I'll start to doubt myself sometimes, and I put it to him like this: like you realize where we grew up, right? You realize that what our friends are doing now, like some of them still live in our hometown because they couldn't make it. Or some of them still have to work at the gas station because they're felons, or God forbid they lost themselves, like they're in hard drugs. Like you realize how fortunate we are. Like, yeah, bro. Like I work in my job now, and I do this on occasion, if I'm lucky. But like, I live in a camper. You know what I mean? Like I had to boil bath water. Like you didn't come from the best surroundings. You know what I mean? Right. You didn't have the best childhood. You know what I mean? You didn't have the best parents like I did, or like other friends, you know what I mean? So you've had issues and struggles growing up, and to see where you are now to where we all now, it's astronomical. Like it's beautiful. Like it should make you want to cry when you realize how far you've came because of what dude, our school shut down. Like that school was so small that it shut down and no one remembers it anymore. Like there's a new generation that's like, that was a school? What? Like we came from such a poverty BFE stricken town that we shouldn't have made it out.
Yeah.
Even it's not the hood or the ghetto, what some people are, what I've been through in Texas, like it's still like, you didn't work at the coal mine, dog. You didn't have to go work in the coal mine and get hooked on dope or anything. Right. Like, I'm so proud you made it out. What? Yes, you have a family. You have a family that loves and supports. You know what I mean? My man told me, he said, yeah, I can't wait to go get some rest after this podcast and then go spend time with my family. Do you realize that there's people your age and my age that don't give a fuck about the families that they've created? You know what I mean? Like, we are so fortunate and beyond blessed to be in the positions we are now that...
That's facts, bro.
Yeah, man, because there's a lot of people our age or a little bit older than you or a little bit older than me that don't fucking have anything. Where they're down the road, they're off the side of the road holding up a cardboard sign now. You know what I mean? And I'm fortunate enough to have you on the podcast to be like, hey man, can I come record these couple of songs? Like, I feel like I can do something. Like, we finally have that. We've always had that drive, but now we're actually out of our small town where we had zero chances. We didn't have a stoplight in our town, man.
Facts, bro.
Like, we had a stop sign that people sometimes used.
And thank God for the internet that we grew up in, the day and age that we grew up in, bro. That's something that people they take it for granted, but think about it, bro.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't know jack shit about music if it wasn't for YouTube.
Yes.
Dead ass.
100%.
And shout out to all the content creators that are just sharing value on social media, of any social media, because that shit is fucking... You guys are doing God's work. On God,
they could have been gatekeepers. You know what I mean? You could have been like, nah, man, I'm not trying to record.
They could have been gatekeepers.
Yes, 100%.
That's facts,
100%.
That is facts.
Some of the other local artists that will have shows and have all their 4 friends that don't make songs all do one song. You know what I mean? And then you and I are like, why the fuck can't we get local shows right now? Yeah. Why the fuck do we have to pay $100 or something to go perform or be a headliner or an opener? God forbid, when we have more clout, we've done more things we're way ahead of our time compared to these other people.
Or just have to be sitting there. For me, I'd be just sitting there thinking, man, I wish that I knew how to make songs. I wish there was a way that I could just learn.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I would be saying that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was producing, bro. I started producing on Windows Movie Maker. You know what Windows Movie
Maker is?
Yes,
that's and how the fuck did you do that?
I'm talking about because I wanted to make songs and I was gonna figure out a fucking way. And I had a Windows 98 desktop back in the day. Not like I'm talking about a big fat ass desktop with not no skinny monitor. No, this bitch was thick. I'm talking about
the towers at the bottom.
Dump truck ass monitor,
yeah, it's the same color as a pair of Dickies khakis. You know what I mean?
So I'm on Windows Movie Maker, bro, and we had written this remake of "I Want to Love You," and this is so cringy, bro. But I'm just gonna tell you for the podcast and for you to just know personally, that we remade this song. It was called "I Want to Hump Shoes."
Oh, yes, dude. Those are the best. I made a song one time in the 6th grade for Tears on My Guitar by Taylor Swift. Okay, me and Jake Walker made a song called You're the Reason for Me Pooping on a Moving Plane.
Yes,
and
sir.
Just 5th graders. Just like, what? And then everyone's just like, you're the reason for me pooping on an open plane. What were we just talking about?
Okay, I don't know. Oh, we're talking about... This song we remade. We remade "I Want to Hump Shoes" with Windows Movie Maker. I wanted to stress that I used Windows Movie Maker to make that.
How did you do that?
Because what we did was we took the song "I Want to Love You," Snoop Dogg and Akon. We took the beginning like 10 seconds. It's like the beats kind of creeping in. You know, there's no drums yet or anything. And we took it. It was like 10 seconds, and I copied it for I think it was like 3 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And Windows Movie Maker, you couldn't stack audio at least in. You know, whatever this was, 1998 or 1999, whatever. And it was just, you had one file, but what you could do is you could push them together and they would crossfade.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we would do, it was really tricky. We had to do like a minute vocals at a time. And because the crossfade, you would lose the vocals. And then we stacked them and just crossfaded it against each other until we had the whole song. And so it's hard to explain that. And for people that are like newer producers that started within the last 10 years, to even visualize what the fuck I'm talking about.
Because that's nuts.
Yeah, and then it was a video that was Windows Movie Maker. So it had to be like a black screen or whatever the whole time, or a picture or whatever we had. It was before I was putting pictures with my songs. It wasn't that advanced yet.
Right.
You know, you feel me? But anyways, good times, man. Good times. That was the first production I'd ever done. I was like, I don't know, 8 years old or something like that.
Oh, my goodness. Dude. When there's a will, there's a way. Mm-hmm. You know, that's literal drive, my friend.
Facts, bro.
Damn, that's impressive.
Then I got Sony Acid on a newer computer a couple years later, right?
Yeah.
And Sony Acid, most people aren't gonna know what the fuck that is.
No, I do not know.
It was a DAW that you could buy at Walmart or whatever. The disc for, I don't know, it was $40 or whatever it was. And this DAW, it was enough. You know, I could draw in MIDI notes on it. And it had a bunch of little loops that it came with, like little drum loops. And on that program were made some early classics, such as Your Mama is a Llama. Remember that shit?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Hell yes.
I think that incited the beef, our first beef, that we never really got to, hash it out. No one has ever... really, we never talked about this with each other, but it's been in my heart. I've been waiting for a day like this to just bring it up and just rub it in your nose.
Alrighty.
That we had beef.
Okay.
Because you were rapping with Canning on some diss tracks, on these slow-mo tracks, what he was calling them. Him and Brandon Davis.
Okay.
And there was an Eran Kiou's diss song.
There was?
There was.
I was on it?
You were a part of it.
Who made this then?
Michael Canning, Brandon Davis, Derek Marcotte.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 27. I'm 4 years younger than Canning. So there's no way
you weren't hanging out with him in high school?
I was at Hackett. No, Canning graduated. No, it wasn't even me. So there was no beef. Even better.
You're off the hook.
I didn't even try to do music until I was 19 maybe. Mm-hmm. Like when we did the first show with the Blake and the homies. Mm-hmm. That's when I even started to take music seriously. I maybe 4 months prior, I freestyled for Corey and Colby one night at the school, and they were like, where the fuck did that come from? What? And then we started doing it at Adam and Heather's and Sugarloaf all the time. And then then you were like, then Penrod started doing it all the time. And then we were like, we should do a show. And then
I assumed you were hanging out with him back then, in which if you were, you would have been on it because Derek didn't rap either.
No.
And but he was on that bitch, and everybody just talking shit about whatever band I was in at the time. I think that was during Fuzzy Dice, so it was shortly after the year.
I didn't know who Canyon was until the end of my 8th grade year at church camp.
Yeah,
that's when I met him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't even know who the hell he was. He was just some skinny guy with a Nike headband.
You went to Hackett until
I went to in the 5th grade. I went to Hackett because I was there kindergarten to 4th at Hartford, and then 5th grade, 6th, and then partial 7th. And then my house burned down, and then I moved to Texas.
Holy shit, bro!
Yeah, in the 7th and 8th grade, I went to Texas, and then came back, went to Greenwood for like 2 weeks, got expelled, and then came back to Hartford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. What'd you get expelled for?
Fighting. I hit a kid with a tray.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. Long time. Coach Hayes had pulled me off him because Hayes used to be a teacher or a coach, like a sub coach thing at Greenwood, and that's when I first met him. And then met him as a sub at Hackett, and everyone called him Green Tea Man. And then he became the coach at Hartford. And my first day, I was like, What are you doing here? And he was like, what are you doing, Biggin? How you doing, boss? You know, and then that was the beginning of our friendship, you know. Shout out to Coach Hayes.
Nice.
Yeah, no, so I didn't.
My first time hearing you freestyle was during that church lock-in where you did a Coach Hayes diss song. Like you were just
yes!
I don't know, and
I
was playing
Sweet Home
piano.
Alabama or something like that.
I was playing some fucking churchy chords on the piano because we were at a church. I was not a Christian at the time, though. At one point I walked outside and smoked a cigarette.
I don't think any of us at that church were at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
People were still doing all kinds of naughty stuff and doing crazy. They were there for the lock-ins to spend time with their friends. They weren't really paying attention at the time. You know what I mean? Most kids at that time. It was 2012s were a different day. It was the early 2010s were a different time. You know what I mean? LMFAO was it was a weird time. People were wearing leopard skinny jeans. No one knew what was happening. Neon was a big thing with people.
Hey, neon's pretty cool still.
Yeah, but like every girl wearing the same like highlighter like yellow V-neck from Walmart and just walking down to school and taking the cool pictures, like the line sunglasses, like the aviators where they had the lines in them, like those days. You know what I mean? Where everyone was like, we know what raves are, but have never been to a rave because they're all in the 7th grade. You know, like that style of that era.
I think I was the only kid like that at Hartford.
No, man. Well, after you graduated, that's when all the scene kids and the odd ones started to show up, where they had like the hacky sackers, or there was like the emo kids, and then there was gothic kids, and then like
I was the lone fucking wolf.
Yeah,
bro,
you were at that stride where no one was the same. If you would have went to Hackett, you would have had more friends.
Yeah.
Because
I know I had tons of friends. It's just I was the only one that had my
in that scene.
style.
I mean, yes, that style. Yeah. There was like the emo girls, the dudes with the hair, the broken side fans, and
some of my bros had like bangs.
Yeah, but like Brandon Soraya used to have the hair back in the day.
Brad used to have the hair. I used to have the full on fucking Liberty spikes and dark black and blue hair and all of it. And my look though, my fucking soul look, bro, is the mullet and the mustache. And I wish so badly that I could have a mullet and a mustache right now. But being in sales, you gotta look a certain way.
Yes, you do.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta look the part. And so one day, whenever music can afford me, go full time again.
Yes.
You better believe mullet and a mustache coming back.
Okay. So we've already gotten past Fuzzy Dice. We've gotten past the show. I want to know about 50 Antelopes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bro.
So how did that come up? How did that come to fruition?
First, it was Forbidden Fruit.
Oh shit, that's right.
Forbidden Fruit, which it led into it becoming 50 Antelopes, but Forbidden Fruit, we're a 3-piece. Like, kind of funky band. It was kind of funky. Me and Carl Yakeley and Daniel Bolton. Carl Yakeley was doing most of the singing, and I rap a couple verses, and then it got to a point where I was getting confident enough at singing to sing some songs with him. And shout out to Carl for that, because if it wasn't for Carl, I never would have learned to sing. Never, ever would have learned.
Oh, man, shout out to Carl.
Carl's a badass singer, and he never had to try, and it used to piss me off because it just came to him. He just knew how to fucking do it.
Now you know how I feel about you, man.
Well, I had to work for that shit, bro.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing. And that's where, like, bro, one time I'm in a church. It was meant to be a compliment. I took it as a diss, right? Okay. This preacher, I performed there as the side project. So it was me solo. I had the computer up there, auto-tune, and the beats that I'd made as the backdrop. And I did a couple side project songs at a church lock-in at Faith Chapel in Hartford. And one of them was a badass Christian cover I wish I still had. But anyways, this dude's going to tell me, you have been given a gift from God. Been given a gift from God. And it pissed me off. It still pisses me off.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. I sucked. I had no natural talent. Not a fucking lick. So it's a gift from God, yes, that I was put in the position to be able to, have a piano to fuck around with when I was a kid.
Right.
Have a guitar, have access to the internet early on. Like, yes, that's from God.
Yes.
That's a gift. But no fucking natural talent. It took me so long to get good. It shouldn't have taken me so long to get good. Like, really.
I understand.
Honestly. It took me so long. I just got good. In my opinion. That's my thoughts on the matter. Anyway.
I understand. No,
But I think it's partly, though, because the bar is so much higher now. Like, as artists, bro, we're not competing with
each other.
With just each other. We're not just competing with break-ins. We're not just competing with,
so-and-so, this, that, and the other.
We're competing with AC/DC. We're competing with fucking Metallica, bro.
Yeah.
We're competing with all the great bands. Hendrix. All the great bands that have ever been. Because someone out there wants to listen to that.
Yes.
So we have to beat every fucking
We have to
thing.
try to mimic that, but be your own self.
Not even mimic it. We just have to beat it.
Well, just like, even in trying to... say you want to be that style of music, you would have to an extent mimic or try to be like, look, I can be like that too. And where labels might look at you more, but you're absolutely right.
That's where we differ though, bro, because
at the very end
I don't mimic, bro.
You do not.
I do not mimic at all.
In the slightest.
And I wish that nobody did, because somewhere along the line, a band became a genre. You know what I'm saying? A band, you can type in
it's type beats.
Blake type beat.
They're type beats now.
And then
shout out to Doug.
Now we're seeing songs become genres. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want my song to sound like that song.
Yeah.
And then everybody, but there's 100,000 producers in America saying I want my song to sound like that song, and then boom, a song becomes a genre.
And now here's what I say to that, because I've literally sent you that text like, here's this. I want to sound. Is it able for me to sound like this? And you'd be like, maybe. I get it. Depends. It all depends on the person. Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But it's that level of uneducation or motivation to want to fully get into it.
Motivation to fully want to get into it. It's not even lazy, because like it's cool. Like there's an opportunity to do that.
Shortcut.
It's shortcut.
That's what it.
They don't care about the fucking craft. That's what pisses me off.
And that's what
because I care so much about music. I fucking love music. And I'm so serious about learning like how to craft it from the most fundamental. Like how do you craft a chord progression? I know I'm a music theory fucking master, bro. And there's parts of music theory. I guess I'm not a master of it because there's parts of it I'm still unlocking. Like right now I'm unlocking where to put the dissonance, where to put the fucking ugly sounds.
Okay.
In glimpses you can hear, you listen to it, bro.
Yes.
It's beautiful the whole way across. But because of that, and this is what I learned from Glimpses, this is my biggest take back on the album that I think would help other artists to know too. You listen to it, it's beautiful all the way across. And because of that, it's not beautiful at all. Does that make sense?
It does.
Because it's beautiful all the way across, none of it is beautiful.
Now, 50 Antelopes, you went through there, you met Ryan Bisco, you guys had unfortunately disbanded. Mm-hmm. What was next?
So, I gotta think about that one.
Because, from what I remember, it was just you solo and busking.
Yeah, that's when I went straight into solo shit.
And then
I don't think I slowed down after that, bro. I think I went on a Christian kick. I made some Christian songs.
Yes.
And like some Christian rock songs, some of which never really got put out there, and they were pretty good. I don't think I have them anymore. Anyways, so after that, I started working on an album, and it was called Not For Myself. And what's crazy about Not For Myself is I was thinking about it the other day, right? I'm like, I wonder who's got that, because I don't have it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I only ever sold like physical copies of it. And that was kind of the allure. You can get a physical copy of a record that you can't get online. And that was my sales pitch on it. And I sold the fuck out of it to a lot of people in Fort Smith. At one point, I was knocking doors selling that bitch. And actually, I did that for a while, just knocking doors and slinging CDs, bro. Yeah. And that's a bold move.
I remember the box of Gaines also.
Yeah, I didn't knock doors for Gaines.
No.
Because it had some fuck shit on it. But I was out there hustling, bro, and I was making it. Like, I was making enough money to survive. It was about $50 a day. And then I'd busk, and I would make anywhere from, in 2 hours, I might make anywhere from $50 to $200.
Damn.
Busking. And so I was fucking killing it, and I was just doing that shit. And I got in on it. I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm moving into a van. At that time, I was doing research, and I found out there were people just living in vans traveling around. Mm-hmm. It's like, I could fucking do that. I've got the means of eating. Like, anywhere I go, I know what to do. I had learned sales at that point by selling rainbow vacuum cleaners door to door. And so, like, I knew how to sell.
You knew how to pitch. You had it locked.
It was locked, bro.
Yeah. First of all, if you can sell rainbows to people successfully, you're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts. I loved it. I loved being out there, getting those tips and fucking, and I'd just be out there having a good time, bro. Smiling at people, singing them goofy songs, dancing around, whatever, on the street corners or fucking stop signs, downtown areas, anywhere. And what's cool about downtown is I'd be slinging CDs and busking, double whammy. Mm-hmm. And those were my hustles, man. And I started traveling around. I went all through Texas and New Orleans, and I went through Colorado. I went through Kansas, and I was just kind of making loops and drawing flowers. You know what I'm saying?
The whole way.
And it was great. I fucking loved it. I was making money. I was surviving. Like, wasn't just balling or anything. Right. But, I was surviving and I was free. And
it was something that you truly had wanted to do. So you exactly right. You were free.
I was free. And I think that's the true American dream. Is not to necessarily, have the mansion or whatever, but to feel free.
Yeah, literally.
To feel free.
Yeah.
And so, I'd finally given that to myself. And then I decided to make a band. I was like, man, I'm doing this. I don't want to do it alone. Mm-hmm. So I made a band, and it was ERAN KIOUS and the Orgy Boys.
Damn right.
Right?
Damn right.
And we were a bar band, man. I had been making these songs for another record. It was going to be my second record as, like, the established artist ERAN KIOUS.
Because I remember when the original Orgy Boys. Yes, you went and did a tour with the Orgy Boys, and actually, I want to clear the air right now because over the years, I have heard speculation and blah 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 blah, and they don't give a fuck about my podcast or listen to me, so I want to know right now. I heard it was because they were homesick and they didn't like the tour no more, and because I already knew you, you personally to the core. Like, that's Erran. Erran didn't want to come home.
Fuck no, I didn't.
Okay, that's all I want to know. That's you ain't got to confirm or deny that. I knew in my heart I needed to hear you say I didn't want to come home.
Yeah, I knew one other thing I got to get off my chest too. I love those guys.
Yes,
but don't hitch your wagon to the wrong people because you know what I'm saying, like.
Because that set you back a little bit.
I put all my faith in them, and it set me back a lot.
Yeah, because at the time you had a nice income, but you also had a nice little set thing to help you get where you were, especially coming from where we were growing up. No one growing up like us had that. Yeah, so you were like, holy fuck, this is almost a literal gift from God. Letting you have that, to push yourself to be able to be safe.
Fucked it up.
They did. You didn't.
But anyways, no, I did. I take radical responsibility.
Okay, I respect that.
And I'm glad everything happened the way that it did. I wouldn't change a fucking thing. Like I say, now because of the way things unfolded, Alex and I started a family.
Yes.
And it's fucking awesome. And I love being a dad. I love being a husband. And so I wouldn't change a thing. But I'd learn the lessons from it, though, because I'm damn sure not giving up. So, as I progress through my journey and getting to the point that I was before and even past it, I'll take those lessons with me. Yes. Now, what's exciting for me right now, especially as a dad, is that I can't tour.
Right.
But that's exciting because all I can do is fill out my catalog.
It's just work.
All I can do is fill out my catalog and get better. And then whenever he's 18 and I can tour again, or 17, graduate high school, whatever. Yeah. When he graduates high school, then I will go back on tour and I'll have a massive fucking catalog to promote.
You're like, I'll do whatever song. I've made songs for the past decade, essentially.
It will have been 18 years.
How old is he right now?
Well, he's 5 now.
Man, you've already got... Dude!
I've been pumping out the fucking hits,
I know,
bro.
I know.
Go back and listen to my album, Sultry, bro.
Oh,
Go
man.
listen to that shit. That shit's fucking good. I don't give a fuck who you are. That shit is fucking powerful, bro.
So, this last project that you've just dropped, my friend.
Yes.
It is odd, great, beautiful, majestic. Mm-hmm. But, like you were talking about, it's so beautiful, it's not.
None of it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes. There's not enough attention. And whenever I wrote those songs, which I wrote those songs 2 years ago, by the way. Like,
okay.
Those songs are 2 years old. And I shelved them all. And they were just been sitting there. And then I started getting serious about guitar again about 6 months ago.
So they were just written. They weren't even recorded yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I told you I've been listening to Hendrix for about 6 months. And that's no coincidence that that's the same amount of time that I have been really focusing on the guitar and getting serious about my playing again for the first time in a couple years, and which is exciting to me because I fucking love the guitar, and I'm making more organic music. So Glimpses was a product of that, of me, kind of experimenting with a sound, because I made Glimpses in a month, that it came to fruition really fast. I took it and I just demoed the songs. Every day I would demo one of the songs. I was in a sprint-like work mode, and every day make a whole demo start to finish, which didn't take me as long as the song I did because I didn't have to write it. It was written. I would just like make a little change and try something different. Record the guitar, record the bass, record the vocals. I did that every day for a month leading up to going to the church studio, where we recorded keyboards, because they got the organ there. They got a grand piano that I got to record on. Such a beautiful instrument. Oh my God.
Hell yes.
And it's pretty quiet in the mix when you listen to it. You got to really listen for it, but it made it though. It really was the icing on the cake. I think that it is a great album for what it is. I think the lyrics are really fucking cool. I'm proud of the lyrics on that record, and especially like the last song. The last song is probably my least favorite of the songs recording wise, like production wise. But at the same time, lyrically, it's my favorite, and it is called "No One Can Save Us."
So the whole project itself loops. You were talking about.
Yeah, the whole project loops. So at the end of "No One Can Save Us," you'll hear a voicemail, which is saying. I'll tell the story of the voicemail in a second too.
Okay.
But it's crazy. I'm just gonna start with the voicemail story because this is actually crazy, bro. So okay, check this out, bro. I say a prayer, and I'm like, God, if you will give me 1 million views, I promise I will make the greatest music that I possibly can. And it was a weird prayer. I've never prayed that before, and so I pray that, and then I get this. My coworker really gets this random voicemail from a stranger. They had the wrong number. They leave this voicemail, and it's like 3 minutes long, of this crackhead lady just talking about, oh, Jason is going to give me my money back and blah, 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 blah. And I just hope that his son doesn't see him as a monster and blah, blah, blah. Going on and on. It sounds like it's out of a movie, bro. And I'm like, dude, the second I heard it, I hear 10 seconds of it. I was like, how long is that? He said 3 minutes. I said, can you send it to me right now? Yeah, because I immediately knew. I'm like, there's samples all over that.
Yeah, you're like, there's no way I can't do this.
Little did I know, by the end of Glimpses, it was all over the bitch. Like, I've used almost the whole thing. And at the end of the record, and the end of No One Can Save Us, you hear, and I've got people with guns aimed at anyone who might come for me. They're ready to aim. And then it cuts. And the first song on the record starts with her saying, fire. And it was from the end.
Okay.
So when you hear it, the first thing you hear on the record is fire, which is cool because it's a fire record.
Right.
It was my thought.
Yes, but also...
also, it fucking loops all the way back around. It worked either way, whether you're hearing it from the beginning, dry start, or looping back from the end, which I was like, that's the fucking cherry on the cake of this thing.
That's perfect.
All the music too, the music that's in the background in between the songs was all improvised, which I was proud of that. And I just like random guitar leads or whatever, random notes here and there on the keyboard, like whatever I was feeling, and which made the perfect backdrop for that voicemail to sit in the middle of.
That's so awesome.
It just kind of worked. Like I already had those improvs down when I got the voicemail. It just like it all completed each other the way it was supposed to.
It just kind of fell in your lap, and you were just like, there's no way I can't do that. You know what I mean? Oh man, that's awesome.
And another big thing is like whenever I was making that record, all those versions, because I made a different version of each song every day for a month.
Right.
And so you'll hear pieces of all those different versions that are like used as samples in the final, what became the finals. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I might have taken one or two words from one version of the song and cut it into the final version of the song. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So when you listen to it, you'll hear it and you'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Because, I heard the acoustic guitar instead of the electric for a bar. That's weird. That's because that was a different take. That one was acoustic. And the bed of the songs are all in on electric guitar. That's one of the giveaways.
Oh, okay.
So
fuck, man.
Yep, and it was a cool project, and I learned a lot from it. The only thing that I'm dissatisfied about Glimpses is that it's not as good as I am. And that's because I immediately started developing my music theory knowledge and like practicing guitar technique after I finished it. So of course it's not as good as me. I've gotten better since then.
Right.
And so now I listen to it and I'm like, this is
now you're nitpicking and now you're like, I hate this part or okay.
I don't hate any of it. It's just boring. I think it's a little boring.
Oh, okay.
And like I said earlier, it's because there's no conflict in it. It's too pretty all the way across, and so none of it's pretty. It's all just static. That makes sense. It's like you watch a movie, you want there to be hills and valleys in the emotion. You know, if an action movie is just all action the whole way across, none of the action is
boring.
None of the action is going to be anything. You're like, what the fuck is this?
It doesn't mean anything. Now, before we head out, I want to ask you the fan questions for Doug Talk Season 2. You are the official first guest of the season.
So flattered.
It's absolute fucking, it's a pleasure, my friend. What album could you listen to forever?
An album that I could listen to forever.
Yes.
I'm tempted to say Punk 2 by Breakins because it was the first album that I fell in love with by Breakins. And it's the most recent album that I've fallen in love with. But if it's an album that I could just listen to forever, I think that I would pick a Spill Canvas record. The Spill Canvas, and it wouldn't even really matter which one. They cover like the full emotional spectrum. They're fantastic songwriters. Not enough people have given a chance to the Spill Canvas.
Okay.
But they got the bops, man. They got the bops. They're eclectic. You know what I'm saying? So some of the vibes you feel on their records too are so complex, such a complex emotion that whenever you feel it, you're like,
it's overwhelming sometimes.
You don't even know like what to call it, bro. There's not a word for that emotion.
Ooh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It just puts you in that space. It puts you in a world. There's a song by John Mayer that's that way too, bro. Neon. When I listen to Neon by John Mayer, I'm like walking down the street. I feel like I'm in New York City.
Oh, because yes, I understand. It just puts you in that realm of yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love when artists are able to tap into that type of frequency with their fans. It's perfect.
You transport somebody somewhere.
Yes. Okay. So you're a dad. If you and your son are playing Mario Kart, what's your go-to character?
Mario. I'm not cool. I don't know. I don't know all the Mario characters. We do play Mario Kart at Target though, and I usually pick Mario.
Yeah, I respect it. You have that Mario energy.
Hell yeah.
So I respect it. Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas.
Yeah.
100%.
Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah,
Thank goodness.
It's not close.
Not even in comparison, dude. Not at all. Illmatic. Come on. Yeah. What is the best Disney show?
Best Disney TV show?
Mm-hmm. I understand you weren't even a TV kid back in the day, so it's hard.
I mean, I don't know. Boy Meets World.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. It's ultimate classic. You can't argue with that one. Okay. Would you rather get punched by Mike Tyson or punch your grandma in the face? Hypothetically, of course, because both of our grandmas have unfortunately passed.
Yeah, facts. I got one grandma left. And I would not punch her in the face for $1 million. I'd take the punch from
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, yeah.
I respect it.
I had to think about it though. That's kind of fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, that's people.
I wanted to make sure I gave an honest answer.
Well, so one of the questions was, would you rather have your parents walk in on you having sex, or you walk in on your parents having sex? And I was just like, I got to keep that one off. That can't be a fan question. Okay, what is the best smoke song?
The best smoke
and you're not even that big of a smoker.
any song off the record, Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper, 100%. That's it. Yes.
Okay. Man, thank you so much for coming down to the studio. It has been an absolute fucking pleasure. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, please go listen to Glimpses, out now on all streaming platforms. Please, please, please.
And follow along because the best is yet to come.
Yes, absolutely. Man, it has been a pleasure having you here on Doug Talks. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 1 of season 2, and I have already had my mentor on here. We're going to have even crazier guests now. I might get some actors. I might call Hugh Jackman in this bitch to up the ante now. Goodness.
I'm sure Jim Carrey would come.
Man.
You should hit him up.
I would try.
Serious.
I would love it. I would. He's like, oh, this is your place. Oh, okay.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Where can we find you? Like
anywhere where people listen to music, type in Eran Kious, ERANKIOUS.
Okay,
and I will be easily found.
Perfect. All of this stuff will be linked in the description below. Please, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Thank you for a long time of bad songs and getting to where we are now, and you believing in me, telling me what's not sound this way, or maybe try this way, or believing in me to even sing in general. It would not, the pop punk project would not be here without you. Where's My Sitcom would not exist without you. So truly, thank you so much for.
I appreciate all the encouragement I get from you too, bro. You make me feel like a big dog.
Absolutely. I'll always give my flowers. I don't care enough to lie to you, man. I'll always give you the truth. You know what I mean? Like it's, I will. Like I'll tell you sometimes songs are bad, sometimes songs are, you know what I mean? Like I respect your opinion so much that, like, yeah, man, you're more than a friend. You're easily one of my mentors, like someone that, like, you're one of the OGs, one of the big bros that, like, I gotta, like, hey man, does this sound okay? Like, so truly, thank you. Is a testament of who you are, man. You are a great friend, a great father, a great person, dude. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh yeah,
it is an absolute pleasure.
Tears of joy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Doug Talk Season 2. We will see you guys next time. Please hug your loved ones, drink plenty of water, and we will see you guys
Someone
next.
take one of those freestyles I did, put a beat to it, and make an auto-tune remix.
Put a beat to it. See you guys next time. Please be safe.